So one of the causes of chronic inflammation is what's called pathogen load. Now, pathogens are anything that can cause infection in the body. So bacteria, viruses, fungus, these are all things that you can experience at different points in your life, but maybe don't get fully cleared out, rarely get fully cleared out. I mean, I have so many people that got food poisoning like years before and still have this low-level chronic gastrointestinal problem that just can never be figured out, right? But anyway, these pathogens and how many you have and the load that your body is carrying have a lot to do with inflammation. So let me get specific. First of all, bacterial infections. H. pylori is a big one, and that is one that a lot of people walk around with having, elevated levels, and it's causing them like symptoms that are irritating, but they're not sick enough to, do anything about it. You can develop an ulcer, absolutely, but maybe you haven't gone that far. Maybe your H. pylori is just giving you digestive upset, throughout. Gingivitis, man, gum disease, that's a huge one. And these microbes from the mouth can, they spread throughout the body and cause not only the bacteria to be present, but then increase the inflammation and contribute to chronic disease. Heart disease is a huge one that's been, directly associated with gingivitis. Then we have chronic tonsillitis. Now, some of us have had our tonsils out, but of those who have not, a lot of times people walk around and their tonsils just stay a bit swollen. They wouldn't even know if they haven't, looked at it. Or maybe they do know and they develop tonsil stones and they think, well, this is just something I struggle with. But understand that is fueling inflammation in your body. Borrelia, which is the organism that causes Lyme disease. And you don't want to just pay attention to Borrelia, but if you have been bitten by a tick, if you've been bitten by a spider, and even now we are suspecting mosquitoes, they can pass these types of toxins into your body that continue to be there and stress your immune system and cause inflammation because you haven't 100% gotten rid of them. So that would be from the bacterial, spectrum. Then we have chronic active viral infection. Hepatitis C is a great example here. People can go for many years and never realize they have hepatitis C until it gets bad enough that their blood work is showing elevated enzymes and their doctor runs further tests and then realizes, oh, you have hepatitis C. That can actually cause cancer. It can be a very serious condition. And then what about HPV, human papillomavirus? Lots of people have HPV and don't realize it, or if they do realize it, they do not think it's a super big deal. Women battle this with abnormal Pap tests that come back, and maybe they have a procedure to scrape the cervix and get rid of, part of that tissue, but then they're clear for a while, and then down the road they're starting to have an abnormal Pap again. That human papillomavirus can cause that and never really went dormant. Then you have latent viruses. These are viruses that have gone dormant but are still a burden to your body. It's just part of the load that you're carrying around. And so examples would be herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2. So you don't stay broken out in herpes. It comes and it goes, but when it's latent, it's still causing some stress to your body and your immune system. We have cytomegalovirus virus and Epstein-Barr virus. These are very much associated with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and then just pain syndromes and fatigue syndromes in general. Again, even if you don't have a diagnosis, you look at the symptoms that you're having and see, what could be present. But this is part of a pathogen load that builds up in the body and creates a situation where you can never quite turn off inflammation. And then on top of the latent viruses, we have parasites. And I'm telling you, people do not realize that they need to parasite cleanse at least once a year and preferably twice a year. I'm telling you, I have done parasite cleansing with people for a long time and myself. It is astonishing what we can carry around in our bodies, and it's super important to get those out. In fact, it's really one of the first parts of a healing program that someone should do. One of my early teachers named Dietrich Klinghardt, he's a mentor, he's like one of the most brilliant practitioners. And back in the day, in the early and mid 90s, when I was first, studying all of this, he was one of the people that was really front and center with research and study. And he has figured out, he talks about how parasites will hold some of these other pathogens. So the parasites in your body also contain any Lyme infections that you have, also can contain these viral infections, and then other toxic things that you have. I'm not even talking about the toxins yet. These are just the pathogens, the infectious agents, and parasites can hold those. So you can work on clearing Epstein-Barr, you can work on clearing these other infectious things, and then if you've got parasites, bloop, they're just spitting it right back into you, so you just cannot get rid of it. If you want to look at doing a parasite cleanse, I cannot over recommend the Cellcore products. There is a link in the link tree where you can order your own Cellcore products. They're only sold through practitioners. And Cellcore has so many wonderful educational tools on their website. So when you get on there, if you're not working with a practitioner, there are protocols where you can take yourself through and do cleanses, which are fabulous. So these pathogens are behind a lot of chronic inflammation, and they're very important to handle.